At a wedding we attended, my wife whispered to her friend that she'd still pick her ex over me. I said nothing, but I heard every word. Let me set the scene. We were at my cousin Mike's wedding last Saturday. Beautiful ceremony, open bar, the whole deal. My wife Lisa and I had been married 6 years. We were sitting at table 12 with her college friend Amanda and Amanda's husband Steve. Lisa thought she was being quiet when she leaned over to Amanda during the father-daughter dance. God, watching this makes me think about what could have been, Lisa whispered. You know, if I could do it again, I'd still pick Marcus over him. Marcus, her ex-boyfriend from college. The guy she dated for 3 years before we got together. I was sitting right there, maybe 2 feet away, but she thought the music was loud enough to cover her voice. It wasn't. I kept my face neutral and finished my drink. Didn't react, didn't confront her, just filed that information away and kept smiling. The rest of the wedding went normally. We danced, we drank, we made small talk with other guests. Lisa acted like nothing happened, laughed at my jokes, held my hand during the speeches, played the perfect wife. But I couldn't stop thinking about what she'd said. Sunday morning over coffee, I decided to test something. Great wedding yesterday, I said casually. Made me think about our own wedding day. Lisa smiled. Yeah, it was beautiful, though I have to say ours was better. Really? You don't have any regrets about how things turned out? She looked at me funny. Regrets? Like what? I don't know. Different choices, different people. Lisa reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Of course not. I married exactly who I was supposed to marry. The lie came so easily. She looked me right in the eyes and lied without hesitation. That told me everything I needed to know about where we stood. Over the next few weeks, I started paying closer attention to Lisa's behavior. Little things I'd overlooked before suddenly seemed significant. How she always seemed distracted when we talked. How she'd gotten secretive with her phone. How she'd started mentioning Amanda more often, needing to catch up with her old friend. 3 weeks after the wedding, Lisa announced Amanda was coming over for one of their girls' nights. Sounds fun, I said. I'll make myself scarce. You don't have to leave. We're just going to drink wine and gossip. Nah, you two should have privacy. I'll catch up on some work in the garage. That evening, I made a point of setting up my laptop in the garage workshop, which shares a wall with our kitchen. The previous owner had done cheap construction, and sound carried easily between the rooms. I discovered this years ago when our neighbor's dog kept me awake at night. Amanda arrived around 8 with wine. They started in the kitchen talking about work and mutual friends. Normal stuff. But as the wine kicked in, Amanda steered the conversation toward relationships. So how are things with you and David? Fine, same as always. That doesn't sound very enthusiastic. Lisa sighed. It's not that there's anything wrong. David's a good husband. He's responsible, he treats me well, he's stable. But sometimes I wonder if stable is enough. Like at Mike's wedding, watching him and Sarah, they looked so passionate about each other. When's the last time David and I felt that way? Marriage changes over time, Lisa. The passion thing doesn't last forever. I know that, but what if it was never really there to begin with? Amanda was quiet for a moment. What do you mean? I mean, what if I married David for the wrong reasons? What if I chose him because he was safe, not because I couldn't imagine my life without him? Are you thinking about someone else? Long pause. Sometimes I think about Marcus, about what might have happened if his parents hadn't interfered. Lisa, that was over 10 years ago. I know, but Marcus and I had something real, something intense. With David, it's always felt more like a partnership than a love story. They moved to the living room after that, and I couldn't make out the details anymore, but I'd heard enough. The wedding whisper wasn't just a moment of nostalgia. It was how she really felt about our marriage. Amanda left around 11. When Lisa came to bed, she was more affectionate than usual. Guilty conscience, probably. The next morning I called my lawyer, Tom Bradley. We'd worked together on business contracts, and I trusted him to be straight with me. Tom, I need to ask about divorce procedures, hypothetically. Nothing's hypothetical when you're asking your lawyer about divorce. What's the situation? My wife isn't happy in the marriage. She's not cheating, but she's emotionally checked out, still in love with her ex. Do you have any evidence of this? She admitted it to a friend. I overheard the conversation. That's tricky. Overheard conversations can be complicated in court, especially if you were deliberately eavesdropping. What if she admitted it directly to me? That would be much stronger. But David, are you sure you want to end the marriage? Have you considered counseling? I can't work on a marriage with someone who wishes they'd married someone else. Fair enough. If you decide to move forward, I'd recommend trying to get her to be honest about her feelings first. If she admits she wants out, we can do an amicable no-fault divorce. If she fights it, things get messy. Over the next month, I gave Lisa multiple opportunities to be honest. I brought up marriage counseling. I asked if she was happy. I suggested we take a romantic weekend trip. Every time she deflected or gave me superficial reassurances. Meanwhile, I started preparing for divorce quietly. Organized our financial records. Changed my direct deposit to a separate account. Made copies of important documents. If Lisa wanted to keep pretending everything was fine, I'd be ready when the facade finally cracked. The crack came in early November. Lisa mentioned Amanda was having people over for dinner. She invited both of us, Lisa said. Just a casual thing with a few couples. Sounds good. What I didn't know was that Amanda had been growing uncomfortable with Lisa's confessions. Apparently, their girls' nights had become Lisa's therapy sessions, and Amanda was tired of being the only one who knew how miserable Lisa was in her marriage. Steve told me this later. Amanda had been venting to him about feeling caught in the middle. She liked me, thought I was a good guy, and felt guilty knowing Lisa was essentially living a lie. When Lisa started talking about reaching out to Marcus on social media, Amanda decided something had to be done. The dinner party was Amanda's attempt at an intervention. She'd invited 2 other couples we'd socialized with before, thinking that a group setting might encourage Lisa to be more honest about her feelings. We arrived Friday night to find 6 other people already there. Amanda had made her famous lasagna and Steve was mixing drinks. Normal dinner party atmosphere. But about halfway through the meal, Amanda started steering the conversation toward marriage and honesty. Steve and I were just talking about this, she said. How do you handle it when your spouse isn't being completely honest about their feelings? The other couples shared their perspectives. Most agreed that small white lies were normal, but big issues should be discussed openly. What about you, Lisa? Amanda asked directly. Do you think spouses should share their doubts about the marriage? Lisa shifted uncomfortably. I think there's a difference between sharing concerns and just dumping every negative thought on your partner. But what if those thoughts are about the fundamental relationship? Amanda, what are you getting at? Amanda took a deep breath. I'm getting at the fact that you've spent the last 2 months telling me you're unhappy in your marriage and wish you'd made different choices. And I think David deserves to know that. The table went quiet. Everyone could sense something was about to blow up. Lisa's face went white. Amanda, don't. I'm sorry, but I can't keep pretending everything's fine when you've told me repeatedly that you think you married the wrong person. You're taking things out of context. Am I? Because 3 weeks ago you told me you were thinking about reaching out to Marcus on Facebook. Last week, you said you were considering what it would be like to be single again. Lisa looked around the table at all the staring faces, then back at Amanda. I can't believe you're doing this. I'm doing this because David is my friend too, and he doesn't deserve to be lied to. I could see Lisa starting to panic. Amanda, those were private conversations. And they should have been conversations with your husband, not with me. Steve tried to interrupt. Amanda, maybe this should be discussed privately. No, Amanda said. Lisa's had months to be honest with David. She's chosen not to be, so I'm choosing to be honest instead. Amanda looked directly at me. David, Lisa has been telling me for weeks that she thinks she made a mistake marrying you. She says you're a good man, but you're not the love of her life. She's been talking about contacting her ex-boyfriend Marcus, wondering what would have happened if they'd stayed together. Lisa stood up abruptly, tears starting to flow. Stop. Just stop. I won't stop, because this isn't fair to anyone. David deserves to know the truth, and you deserve to stop living a lie. Lisa looked at me with desperation in her eyes. David, she's exaggerating. Yes, I've had some doubts, but every married person has doubts sometimes. Doubts about whether you married the right person? I asked quietly. Lisa started, then stopped. She looked around the table at all the witnesses, then back at me. I don't know how to answer that. Sure you do. It's a yes or no question. Lisa sat back down, crying harder now. The other dinner guests were trying to pretend they weren't watching, but in a room that small there was no privacy. Yes, she whispered finally. Yes, sometimes I wonder if I married the right person. And Marcus? Are you planning to contact him? Lisa wiped her eyes. I looked at his Facebook page. I thought about reaching out, but I didn't. Because you decided not to, or because you haven't worked up the courage yet. Because I knew it was wrong. I leaned back in my chair. But you still wanted to. Yes. The room was completely silent. Even Amanda looked like she was regretting her intervention now that it was actually happening. Lisa, I said carefully, I appreciate you being honest, finally, but I can't stay married to someone who wishes they'd married someone else. David, wait. Just because I have doubts doesn't mean... It means exactly what it means. You think you married the wrong person. You're still in love with your ex. You've been lying to me about how you feel for months, maybe years. Lisa was crying steadily now. I do love you. But not the way you loved him. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. I stood up. I think we should go home and figure out how to handle this. Lisa nodded, still crying. We said awkward goodbyes to the other guests and drove home in complete silence. When we got to the house, Lisa went straight to the living room and curled up on the couch. I poured myself a drink and sat across from her. How long have you felt this way? I asked. I don't know. Maybe always, a little bit. But it got worse after we went to Mike's wedding. Watching him and Sarah, seeing how they looked at each other, it made me realize what was missing between us. Why didn't you tell me? What was I supposed to say? Hey honey, I think I married you for the wrong reasons, and I'm still in love with my ex-boyfriend. Yes, exactly that, because then we could have worked on it or ended it honestly, instead of you living a lie and making me live one too. Lisa looked at me through her tears. Would you have wanted to work on it if I'd told you I had feelings for Marcus? I thought about it honestly. I don't know. Maybe. But I would have wanted the chance to try instead of finding out this way. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am sorry. What do you want to do now? Lisa was quiet for a long time. I don't think there's any coming back from this. You'll never trust me again, and honestly, I don't know if I can stop wondering what if. So we get divorced. The next morning, Lisa packed a bag and went to stay with her sister while we figured out the logistics. I called Tom and told him we were ready to move forward with divorce proceedings. What changed? He asked. She finally told me the truth. How bad was it? She's been living a lie for 6 years. Still in love with her ex, considers me a mistake, has been thinking about contacting him. Ouch. At least she was honest about it. That should make the divorce straightforward. It did. Lisa didn't contest anything. We split assets 50-50, sold the house, and filed no-fault divorce. The whole process took 4 months. I heard through mutual friends that Lisa did reach out to Marcus after our divorce was final. Apparently he was married with kids and had no interest in rekindling their college romance. Lisa moved to another city and started over. Amanda and Steve invited me to dinner a few months after everything was settled. Amanda apologized for the way she'd handled things. I should have talked to Lisa privately first, she said. The dinner party thing was too dramatic. Maybe, I said, but it worked. I got the truth, even if it wasn't pretty. Are you angry with me? No. You were right. I deserved to know. Lisa never would have told me on her own. Steve raised his glass. To messy friends who tell the truth when it matters. To moving on, I replied. 6 months later, I met Jennifer at a work conference. She was recently divorced too, with 2 kids and no interest in pretending to be someone she wasn't. We took things slow, but from the first conversation, I could tell the difference. She looked at me the way Lisa had looked at Marcus in her memories. The way someone looks at you when you're their first choice, not their safe choice.